can see he's having a mask there. Ruto supports Raila for AU. Riggy G has been silent on this as well. This is what Gamza had drawn earlier as well. And also, we will implement the housing levy no matter what it takes. And the court had declared this unconstitutional. Where has he been? This is the Attorney General. We've seen also him expressing frustrations that he is not being consulted on some of these legislations that have been faulted by the courts, right? But I wanted just to hear from Honorable Ruto, looking at this particular editorial cartoon, what would you say?
Thank you, Deepa.
Are the shareholders unhappy? You can tell us.
Deepa, I want to say that the Attorney General of the Republic...
just briefly, because I know it is Richard Onyoka's time.
Yes, the Attorney General of the Republic, the Right Honorable Justin Muturi, is working very well with the President, very well indeed with the President. And of course, there are some statements which are coming from different, media, which are not true. From where I sit, and bearing in mind that the Attorney General of the Republic is Member of Parliament, is working very well with the President. And the President has total confidence as far as his work is concerned. And AG is supporting this administration in a very serious way, in giving advice where is required, and that is legal advice. And is in that office, is in that office because he's qualified, he has served this nation for many years. He's a gentleman who served as the Speaker of the National Assembly with dedication and commitment for 10 years. He's a stickler of law, and he has contributed too much from the time of Kanu to now in the service of the Republic of Kenya. Having said that, there's a statement which was made over the weekend by the Governor of Embu.
All right, just hold on with that statement, because we want to hear from Honorable Richard Onyoka. I think
no, this is very important. Allow me to finish.
Okay.
This is very important. There's a statement that was made by the Governor of Embu, and it is an unfortunate statement that Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya got that job out of favor from quarters of some leaders. One of them, Deputy President. No. Attorney General of the Republic, Justin Muturi, got his job as Attorney General of the Republic out of the agreement which was there between Democratic Party and UDA. Him being the party leader of the Democratic Party and President William Ruto being the party leader of UDA. All party leaders of Kenya Kwanza Coalition are in government position. In Cabinet Secretary, Weta is the Speaker of the National Assembly, Madividi, who is the Foreign Affairs Minister, and the Prime Cabinet Secretary. So there is nowhere favors were extended to the Attorney General of the Republic so that he can get his position. That was a wrong statement made by the Embu County Governor, Madam Cicely Mbarire.
Okay, right. I thank you. I'm extremely happy to sit here with my brother Ruko and hear him say what he's saying. Number one, Honorable Ruko, I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
Justin Muturi is qualified. He has been a speaker for 10 years. He's somebody who has studied the law reasonably well. And but the point I thought that was being made, I don't think that Governor Cicely was actually trying to besmirch or lower the credibility of the Attorney General. I thought she was trying to justify why members of the Mount Kenya region should not have resentment towards Gachagua for the simple reason that in the distribution of this cake, which the current government got, Justin Muturi actually got favor, because in reality, the point that Cicely must have been making is that Honorable Gachagua came in, and intervened. That is the message she's trying to give, that he intervened to make sure that Muturi then got favor for him to come there to become the Attorney General and all that. But if we look at the agreements which, like he has said, which were signed by the UDA team, just like we did ours under the under our Azimio. That agreement was watertight. It gave everybody the responsibility. And I think, Honorable Ruku, most of the people who signed that agreement delivered on their part. And therefore, President Ruto had to own up. And I think he owned up by giving Musalia, Weta, the matrix, even when, for us in Azimio, were unhappy that we had lost the elections, the matrix actually proved again that the Kenyan political class can agree to sign agreements which are going to cover interests of all the communities and all the people in that area. Number two, Dibal, I've been in politics for quite a while. What President Ruto did by having that picture taken with Raila in Kazozi, which is Museveni's home, that was a political masterstroke. And that is why I have raised issues on this table before, and other quarters I have said. In reality, like Mandago had said, Governor Mandago, don't put this politics into your heart. Don't. Because politics is the art of the possible. It's never the art of the impossible. And for me, the contradiction of the issue of President William Ruto meeting with Prime Minister Raila and them going to Museveni, for me, I also want to recommend Honorable Gachagua. His reaction has been statesmanly. I don't know whether if you reversed the roles, how President William Ruto would have behaved if Gachagua was the president and he had gone to Kampala to negotiate with Museveni and Raila for Raila to get this. The second point I wanted to raise, and he said it, but I didn't quite get the pin on it. He said, and this is what Honorable Ruku said, we must distinguish the responsibility of KK Alliance supporting Raila to get the AU job and from any handshake that may come. But in reality, I think you, from the community where you come from, we say, when a goat is being slaughtered, blood will sprinkle on your legs. So you cannot go and lie to people that in me I was not there, they slaughtered the goat and they ate all of it without me. No. So there are likelihoods that there could be underpinnings and underlines, because naturally the relationship that President Ruto is having with Raila is not the way it was before the elections and maybe immediately after the elections when we were demonstrating. To me as a Kenyan, and as a person who knows both individuals, I am not shocked that President Ruto agreed to negotiate with Raila in terms of supporting him so that he can go to the AU. Because that seat, we as Kenyans have got this thing where we think that seat is for Raila, It's not. That seat is for the Republic of Kenya. If that seat fails, like the case where Uhuru was supporting Amina, the loss was actually not on Amina. The loss was on Uhuru. The truth is, on the credentials of the political acumen of the two candidates that Kenya had at that time, the truth is Amina was coming in as the first Muslim woman who had actually been elevated to that level. So it was substantive because it was going to be the first for our country. But again, right now, Raila has the credentials, even when you may hate him, even when you may disregard him, and even when you may feel wronged by him. There are some things that he has actually done wonderfully well and politically well. In other words, yes, did I expect a handshake to be there? I was always on a 50-50 basis. Did I know that it would come through the president supporting Raila coming in as the person who's going to head the AU? How could I have known that? I didn't even think about it. Is it an opportunity that I think Raila should take and run with, and the president should support him? Absolutely. Will it change our noise in our political matrix? No. I mean, Raila from here went to South Nyanza, Homa Bay, and the story was all about the server and all that. My argument is, let us learn how to ask for the server and everything for local politics. But when Raila goes to AU, let me tell my friends who I keep seeing here, including Oparanya, saying that, oh, Raila endi mahali. When Raila goes to AU, he will never say a single thing about Kenya unless it is a violation on certain principles under which the AU will force him to speak about. But I don't see Kenya moving into that extreme. Will he be talking about cost of living? He may talk about cost of living the whole of Africa. He cannot come and start telling the president. In other words, there are certain parameters that he has to cover and some he will not cover.
Is it a poison chalice for him, so to speak?
My feeling is once he's left and he's gone to Addis and he's become an African statesman, I don't think that it would affect him in any way. Is it going to weaken his capacity within first the Kenyan nation and the Luo community and the ODM family? My argument is no. Will he have some influence? Yes. And a lot of it, but it has to be quiet diplomacy on his part. That Raila cannot come and start pronouncing himself. If he does, then he loses the credibility as a statesman. If you look at all the people who are actually leading the African continent, who have been there as chairman and even the ones who've been there, the bosses, the CEOs of the Africa Union, their pronouncements have been weighty, their pronouncements are regarded, they are studied, they are looked at by various international bodies, various international leaders, and his pronouncements will have to be guided by the precedents which have been set by his colleagues. You never saw when the man called Said Salim from Tanzania, when he was the head of AU, you know, Kenyans forget that such people were there. Said Salim would never discuss Ujamaa in Tanzania, but he would talk about democracy in Zimbabwe. You see where I'm coming from? So there are certain things he may pronounce himself on the African continent, but at the local level, he may have to stay himself. So I feel that yes, President Ruto has become completely magnanimous in supporting Raila, extremely good. I don't think that Gachagua should worry, Honorable Ruku. I don't think Honorable Gachagua should worry, because after all, if Honorable Gachagua was friendly to us who are in the Azimio coalition, chances are he might convince some of us to be with him.
We are not talking about worry. We are talking about respect for the community.
No, respect you are getting, the community respect, nobody will interfere with that. And don't keep threatening the president. You know that statement you made, I was laughing at it because you have said anybody who is going to disrespect Gachagua, that would include the president. It means the president has gone behind what that cartoon was saying, behind Gachagua's back, and he has negotiated. But I saw the president again pronounce himself. He said he actually informed Gachagua that they are discussing. Why? And for me, that's why I'm encouraging Gachagua, that as my deputy president, please understand that this job of Raila has nothing to do with the political power play that is going to be locally here.
Indeed. That's what I wanted to say in the same context. It's not as directly as it were in 2017.
Exactly.
2018, I should
Where
say.
Raila was around, he was always with
actually
Uhuru.
in government.
He was getting benefits. Okay, he was a guest in government. All right. I don't think he had any much role.
I like the way you're putting it. He was a guest in government.
Yes.
No, he's not really a guest in government. Now he's actually working without borders.
Yes. And
He's
that is
crossing the
why
top,
I see
yes.
Dibal, that is why I see he's continuing discussing and raising the issues that we are having with the KK Alliance, because again, and you saw what Honorable Jimmy Wanjigi was saying, he's saying Raila has abandoned the people and Ruto, they are now together. That narrative is going to come. But for me, my approach and my reasoning about this is let Mzee go to AU. He has done his best. Whatever that he wanted to do in Kenya, he has got a bigger platform now to do it. And again, in democracies and in leadership, it is true, we really, really wanted to win this election. We really wanted Raila to become president. But you see, like Bob Marley used to say, when one door is closed, another is open. Another just opened. Let Mzee go. Let him do his best. I know he'll be able to manage the local politics and the sensitivities and the issues which are there. At the end of it all, for me, I would wish and pray that we, especially the young and upcoming politicians who believe they know everything and they understand, and you can see some of them, the comments they make about Raila. And as I've said before, Raila is not a saint. But let us accept that there are certain Kenyans who have the CVs and the credibility to lead an organization for the African continent. And I have said this, I completely respect Honorable Paranya. I respect Honorable Joho from Mombasa. But for me, transitionally, the person I would hope that Raila will actually enabled to proceed with the Azimio coalition is Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. The man is qualified, he's experienced, whatever Kenyans think. He's been at it, he's been a minister, he has served in education, foreign affairs, he has negotiated for the Sudanese peace process, he's been a facilitator. I mean, Kalonzo basically is presidential material. Whether he'll be able to dislodge President Ruto, I don't know. But for me, if I was asked and somebody told me, what do you think in terms of succession? I would actually recommend that let us give Kalonzo the benefit of doubt and let him carry on and see how it goes.
Well, Pandit Savit, that now he should not just be sitting pretty, waiting also to just be endorsed or anointed or crowned, right? That he should really work hard and show that there is a sheer dint of hard work that is being put, aside from him talking about the forfeiture of his presidency or presidential ambition that he has, forfeited for Raila Odinga before.
But you know, the bar, we are not seated. We are working. I'm sure you've been following up what Honorable Kalonzo is doing for the last almost 3 weeks.
Where people have been saying, Raila has been
he's been reaching out to Kenyans.
He's been reaching out to Kenyans for his bid in our AU.
And I like what Senator is saying. Senator is a former assistant minister, foreign affairs. So when he talks with authority in that area. And
where Kalonzo also served as
yes.
But I think when he talks about Raila's position at the AU and what it means to the country, that he might not come down and start talking about the local politics. He has now to play above Africa level. So that means in reality then we'll need somebody to play at the local level. And that's, I think, what he says from his assessment. And I'm happy he's not talking as a Wiper member. When I talk, you imagine it always.
Yeah, there's biasness, of course.
Yeah. but we have said many times.
But you never know. It might be also in conversations. In this country,
honestly, I can tell you,
honestly,
I talk with him, but in the last, I think 3 months, we haven't talked.
But the thing is,
this is purely my gut feeling as a politician.
The truth of the matter is the bar.
Yeah.
Without being any bias.
We'll come to that, Moshimo.
Being objective. If you are to take and analyze all of these candidates without Raila, the remaining on the Azimio side, truth be said, there is no one who can match what Kalonzo puts on the table. That's the truth of it. And it doesn't matter where he comes from. That's the truth. When you look at the experience, you look at what he has done outside Kenya, what we call the international connections. This man, let's just, truth be said, when I hear Honorable Paranya say he is also a potential candidate, I see Honorable Joe saying, please. Unless now they just want to say, there is I've seen this common saying, everybody, Kalonzo is indecisive, this common statement. Weak. But I want to tell you, from where we come from, we are very religious. There is one Swahili song, which was a gospel song, which said, wanaokudharau watakusalimia kwa heshima. You must have heard that. There was also another one which was done by one of our soloists,
I remember,
which says, tutawaombea adui wako waishi maisha marefu ndio waone ukibarikiwa. So that you want your enemies just to live long, not to die, to live long so that you can prove them wrong. And anytime I look at the kind of analogy, mostly from other Kenyans from central Kenya, Kenyans from the Rift Valley, the way they portray our party leader is a very weak leader. How I wish God gives them the grace to see the 10 years of Kalonzo presidency, so that they confirm what this man can do for this country. I'm telling you, this is the president we have been waiting for, who has never been a president of this country. How I wish this time Kenyans rally behind Kalonzo and they taste a bit of his presidency. We'll never be complaining the way we are complaining, but as he says, this is about voting. We're out there looking for votes. People continue looking for votes. And I can tell you for sure, the issue of endorsement in the bar, we've said many, and I've said it. You look at the papers, even this show, that we are not waiting for an endorsement. We are moving on for people to catch up with us after they see that we are serious competitor in this game.
But indicators of this moving on is not people are not seeing the moving on that you're talking about. What is the moving on?
But this weekend, Kalonzo was in Embu. Last weekend, he was in Kisii, Homa Bay. The other weekend, you remember where we were? We've been all over the place, actually. The thing is, us who believe in Kalonzo presidency and his team have already come up with a program to reach out to Kenyans. You were in Embu. You can attest to that this weekend in a church. And all what you're telling people is, Kenyans, we have a candidate here who you can trust in. Please listen to him. We will be sending his manifesto to you and give him a chance to lead you based on his experience and first performance when he was the deputy president with Kibaki. I remember it's last week when we were here, and I think we were all when I said that. If you remember when Kalonzo was the vice president to Kibaki otherwise had challenges. And I said, people might not believe it, but the truth of the matter is, if your boss has health challenges, it means more likely you will not be able to over 100% as in that position. So in reality, it was the vice president who was really calling the shots in terms of overseeing the government.
Right.
And that's the time we all pride ourselves that the economy did very well. But in time we talk, people think we talk that because Kalonzo comes from our region. Far from the truth. This gentleman has what it takes to occupy that position and give Kenyans the best. Just like some of us have what it takes to occupy some position in this country and give the best.
Right. So he has what it takes actually to be the president of this country, but also other people will argue and say, as the pundits have been putting forward, the issue that can be a tripping wire for Kalonzo Musyoka is the fact that it takes, a huge war chest to run for the presidency, and Kalonzo's it doesn't seem to be having that particular wherewithal to run for the presidency.
Can I ask you?
Wait.
Can I
go for fiscal chest?
Can I ask you a question?
What I'm talking about.
Before Ruku comes in, bro, just take 1 minute. Let me ask you.
Yes.
Whoever went to Kalonzo's bank account to find out which money he has and he doesn't have? And anyway, President William Ruto did not win the elections because he had money. Yes, money was a factor. But look at his messaging and his talking and this bottom-up thing which these people had. I don't think that William Ruto really needed to have spent billions and billions, because the message he had, as we were trying to counter it, so it depends on what Kalonzo is able to actually convince Kenyans about.
And Senator,
and soon we are going to head up to a place
in,
where people who are of goodwill, who may not have that money, soon they'll be getting money from paybill numbers.
And let me tell you, the other thing is, before Ruku comes in, when you look at, we have been trying to legislate on, is it campaign financing bill? Mm-hmm. Which means we don't expect an individual to finance their campaigns, so that you have a system how you can raise resources to campaign.
From donations.
Kalonzo will not be campaigning using his own resources. So long as there's a proper structure, he has friends who can also support the campaigns, and I'm sure you are one of them,
Don't pigeon me. I'm an arbiter.
You could also be sending your 20K towards those campaigns. So we have no worries. What we are asking is, does he have a manifesto which is appealing to Kenyans? And I think that manifesto is there. And it has been there since 2007. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you.
All right. Ruku.
All of us here, we have gone through campaigns. And we know campaigns are very expensive.
Indeed.
It's a very expensive affair. So they can't sit here and claim that campaign is not expensive, that Kalonzo Musyoka doesn't need to be well prepared when it comes to financial preparation. He needs to be extremely well prepared, because he'll be competing with very serious Kenyans who are also very well prepared. By the fact that Raila Odinga has accepted to go to African Union, he must have analyzed the political situation in the country and realized it's extremely impossible to win against William Samoei Ruto come 2027. So we are sure that the next
that is a
president...
good sort of excuse to actually go there and say, I did.
Exactly.
I'm not
we are sure
for running.
Yeah, and also the kind of recognition President William Ruto is getting, not only in the country, but also out there, internationally. As you know, he will be visiting United States of America on state visit, invited by the president for a state visit. Is not something that happened to any other African leader. The last time it happened, it was 20 years ago. So it is clear manifestation that William Samoei Ruto will win in a big margin come 2027. And therefore, for any time Kalonzo Musyoka can try to be president of the Republic of Kenya is come 2032. 2032, Kalonzo Musyoka will be around 78 years, 78, 79 years then, because now he's 70. We have another 8 years to 2032. So the gentleman will be 78 years old. He will be, energy will be not on his side. You know, if there's something that is final or that, you know, comes with finality, it is age. And therefore, I predict that Kalonzo Musyoka will be the next government, the government of William Samoei Ruto. 2028, 2032, I predict that Kalonzo Musyoka will be in William Ruto's government because you must analyze his fortune properly and see that 2032, it is quite, age will be catching up with him. You'll not be able to run and fight with the young thugs who are coming up at the moment. There will be quite a number of them then. And the best thing would be to get whatever you can be able to get when you still have energy by serving this nation in different capacity. You never know. Probably because the National Committee is recommending a number of positions which we might change the constitution. I don't know whether it will be possible or not. But if it is possible, then Kalonzo Musyoka might occupy some of these positions come 2028, 2032. For him to look for ways of retiring with honor and with grace, just like Raila Odinga has decided to retire with honor and with grace as a statesman in not only Kenya but in Africa. So I think Kenya, the coalition, the Kenya Kwanza coalition, is going to dominate the political space of this country for another not less than 15 years.
Not less than 15 years.
Now. Yes. It's going to dominate.
So you're going to dominate
the
in
players,
20 years.
The players within Kenya Kwanza coalition
we wait,
are going to dominate the political space of our country for quite some time.
Not necessarily as Kenya Kwanza, but
it's not necessarily.
Yes.
Not necessarily Kenya Kwanza.
All right.
But there is a surety of another 10 years.
100 years.
Yeah, it's
There is a surety. There's a surety of another 8 years with the presidency of William Samoei Ruto. Then, because of a number of political gymnastics which will happen there and the preparation which you can see at the moment happening, we expect that the same players now will win come 2032. So it is better for Kalonzo Musyoka and others start finding ways of building bridges and getting into this government, moving Kenya forward together. It is true Kalonzo Musyoka was Runyenjes on Sunday, but it was a very low-key event, extremely low-key. Probably when they are organizing some of the functions, they should emulate what President and what his deputy does. You know, they must to have the figure.
But you're using the state resources.
Yeah, using state resources.
No.
At the end of the day.
Honorable Ruku, we don't want another Ruto in Kalonzo. Let
true.
Kalonzo be.
Yeah, let him be himself.
Why do you want us to get another clone? Get a guy who's going to talk to Ruto, who's going to discuss bottoms up? No. You manage the president your way.
And wish you the best, because I don't think you'll have another term.
Yes.
Yeah,
but what Honorable Ruku is raising also is very key, because we can't put off the table the association of Kalonzo Musyoka and Ruto. Yeah, even before we head to the 2022 general election, there was that particular discussion that if they could actually be together in this current government, of which now I think at some point Kalonzo Musyoka pulled back. So what makes you think that he can stop from the gestures that may be proffered from the current government for him to work together with President Ruto in 2027? If there has been an indication before that it never happened, we never know what was the terms of agreement, maybe that can be sorted in 2027 and he'll be able now to cross over.
Let me give you a very simple analysis. And that is because of the little experience I've had working in this thing called politics. The president just needs to make 2-3 mistakes. by the time we are going to the elections.
And is it done?
And it's done. Because you see, we are in the opposition. We'll be telling the government what the mistakes are. Kenyans are going to be ticking the boxes. There are certain mistakes. If the cost of living maintained and is where it is now, if taxes continue increasing the way they are now, if you have the revenue that we are collecting, that is not going to increase. If we continue borrowing the way we are borrowing the way it is now, if the president's CSs and ministers, you saw this morning what Jimmy Wanjigi is talking about. We've borrowed 246 billion in the last 3 months, and yet when you are asking where is this money going, last 4 months, where is this money going and what projects are being done? If Kenya has changed, Africa, Dibal, people are changing. This phone is changing how people look at things. People are reading everything. By the next elections, I believe Kenyans will be different, completely different. So to me, if the president performs well and he does what Kenyans expect, by 50%, they will re-elect him. But if the president continues where certain things exist and they make Kenyans uncomfortable and they feel he's not looking at their interests, those Kenyans can decide to take that Kalonzo and elect him, and he doesn't have to spend a penny. Money may not matter in the coming elections, because the opportunity cost for Kenyans, by the time we are going to move in the next 10 years, people are going to be so sensitive about the issues that affect them. If university students are not getting their money to go to school, if CBC, the system in education, is not functional, if you find the police officers are complaining about the same issues that they were complaining about when Uhuru was there, complaining about what Kibaki was there, all you need to do is for Kalonzo to come and say, you know what, yes, I think we can clear up this mess. And Kenyans, if they say yes, then our president now, William Ruto, will have to work extremely hard. Yeah.
So the likelihood of Kalonzo working with Ruto in 2027?
I never write off anything.
It could, yeah.
I never write off anything in politics, because the reality is there are going to be other formations coming in the next elections. You hear what Mr. Ruku is saying. If we reach somewhere and Honorable Gachagua is going to start shooting both guns, barrels loaded, saying how Ruto has betrayed him, President Ruto will have to make a decision. And that decision is very simple. And that's why he's in Luo Nyanza. He will shift his loyalty to the western part of Kenya and put in the vote for the Rift Valley, South Rift, and all these other areas. Nairobi, you know, is a stronghold for the opposition. He will then have Eastern Kenya coming in if Kalonzo decides to join him. And the reality is, from what Honorable Ruku is saying, if the Mount Kenya team doesn't manage this engagement with Raila properly, you understand what is going to happen. That's what they're worried about. They're not worried about that.
He's misquoting me.
They're very worried.
Dibal, Senator, my good brother, is misquoting me, and he's putting words in my mouth, ones which I have not said. What I have said is that from 2002, Mount Kenya region has been in government.
True.
We will remain in government now. We will be in government 2027. We will be in government 2032. Our unity is paramount. Our unity will not be, nobody will not allow anybody to come and behave in a manner like it to suggest that he wants us divided.
Right, but you,
okay?
Let
me must remain united as Mount Kenya region. We have learned how to remain united. We will not allow anyone to try and divide us. What we are saying is, we have a leader who is a symbol of unity of Mount Kenya region. That leader is Rigathi Gachagua, for now, okay? And we are going to rally behind that leader so that we can be in this government, we can be in the next government, 2027. 2027, William Ruto will win by landslide the general election. And we will be in William Ruto's government, 2027, 2032. 2032, as a region, we will come together to know how we are going to form the next government. That is exactly what we are saying. We are not saying what Senator, Kisi Senator here, my brother, is trying to say.
What did I say?
You know, the
you are trying to.
Maybe now I can have my turn.
Let's hear from Honorable Makali.
Yeah, I think the matter you're trying to pursue, Ibal, is whether Kalonzo can work with Ruto in 2027. And there are some facts you can't change. He says politics is a game of possibilities, that anything is possible. But if Honorable Kalonzo decides to work with Ruto, which is a possibility as you are saying, but there are two things he must make a decision on. One of them, by working with Ruto, it means then you have signed off to be a president of this country.
Absolutely.
That's point number one. Because when you look at the age issue, the age factor, you realize that, for example, if he decides to work with Ruto in 2027, it means then 2032, as he's saying, there could be a generational change.
Yes.
And I don't think many Kenyans will be thinking about this time to elect Honorable Kalonzo.
An 80-year-old
So
man.
you'll have switched off. So, and that's where, from where I sit, I think if I were him, and I'm sure he's a very experienced politician, he has been in this politics for long, I don't think he can make that mistake. As he says, it would be better you retire gracefully from the opposition side. Because by going in there, then it means at personal level you have switched off the politics of the day. The other thing is, this government of Honorable Ruto, which is the Kenya Kwanza government, let's the truth be said. If today we were to go for elections, I want to tell my friend Rukuya, without any fear of contradiction, they will not take that government if today we went for elections. So it means they have a lot of homework to do between now and 2027. And if they don't get it right, and from where I sit as a politician and also as a strategist, I've not seen any clear strategies on how they want to change the situation. I've not seen them. Look at the cost of living. Look at the borrowing ambits of this government. Look at the way they are treating recruitment of Kenyans into government civil service. Very biased. So these are the things which make the public be dissatisfied with governments. And I'm telling you, when the public decides enough is enough, whether you have money, whether you have no money, they will not elect you. I can tell you for sure. That's how people lose elections. That's how, even us who are seated here, we are politicians. That's how you lose elections, by disconnecting
from what
the voter.
What the people want.
So that, because when you elect somebody, you have expectations. If you don't get those expectations met, what do? You disengage. I don't know, even somebody comes and tells you, you'll have already locked the system, you'll have said, I don't want to hear anything about this government. And that's what I'm telling my friend here from Embu, that when you say about 2032, 2027 you'll be in the government,
up to
you are
2040.
likely to find yourself in the opposition. By the way, there are very high chances
Yes.
that 2027, the so-called Mount Kenya, you are likely to be the official opposition of this country.
That's why we should fix NADCO.
If you don't
Let's
play-
fix
if you
NADCO
don't
for
play-
you who are going to be in the opposition.
But the unity of Mount Kenya as it is right now, it doesn't seem that collectively everyone is behind Gachagua as it are.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
It isn't.
because you're saying, oh, he is the kingpin of Mount Kenya. One will ask who endorsed him to be the kingpin of
Dibal.
Mount Kenya. Is it
Dibal.
a de facto that now he is the deputy president? That
Dibal,
one
before
makes
he
him the
answers,
kingpin
ask
of
him
Mount Kenya?
where is Ndini Nyoro coming from?
This is where I'm coming to.
Yeah.
The Ndini Nyoro factor, and now that rift that has been there, and we saw also Senator Omatenga making some pronouncements that they rue the day that they joined Kenya Kwanza, and they rue the day also they actually collapsed most of their parties to be under UDA.
Yes.
Do you first of all, you came across or you came to government, so to speak, with the UDA party, or you had to rescind your party to join UDA?
I am a member of Democratic Party.
Democratic Party.
Elected on Democratic Party. We encourage Mount Kenya to have different political parties.
Yeah, was there any kind of conversation that maybe you should forget about Democratic Party and join UDA? I mean, there has been that particular question.
No. There's nowhere where we have sat down and asked to start preparing to join UDA. No. I'm a Democratic Party. We will have Democratic candidates in every constituency in every county, MCAs and other positions.
So the question that has been put forward by Malala, where we saw the discussions on Ford Kenya, or even NC, where they were taking special umbrage that they're not going to fold as NC, but they will remain intact, has not befallen you as well?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. And that's out of discussion completely, because we are not folding one of the oldest political party in Kenya, Democratic Party. It will remain. I will still run on Democratic Party come 2027. and many others also will do the same. And we encourage Mount Kenya region to have different political parties so that we can form a coalition with President political party. But what we are saying is, in Mount Kenya, we have a leader, the highest, who is occupying the highest office in the land, or as far as Mount Kenya region is concerned, is the deputy president. There is no other person within the region who has higher office than that. The higher office than that is the president, and it's come from Rift Valley. That's a fact. And we have said, let Mount Kenya region and president work together. Who is going to represent the interest of the Mount Kenya region in Kenya Kwanza government? These interests are well represented by the deputy president, and we have confidence in him, and we are all behind him. And for those who are saying there are sentiments from other leaders within the region, all of them, they have come out strongly. I hope the two leaders here followed an occasion which was there in Murang'a, in Kegumo constituency, where the deputy president was there. All the leaders of Murang'a, including Dindi Nyoro, were there, and they all said that they are firmly behind the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. So that is what we are saying. That is what we are saying. If anyone who doesn't want to be to see a region united in such a way, then is a serious enemy of the region. Anyone who may want to see Rigathi Gachagua not as the person who is holding the mantle from the region, then is an enemy of the region.
All right, we need to wind up, and I think now we've exhausted that. I want just to come up to the issue of the housing levy, because it's coming to the Senate.
Yes.
And you've indicated, you as Azimio, you will shoot it down.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
And by the way, clarity from me.
Yes.
It is not that I'm against the houses being built. You see what Mr. Hinga has announced about Nairobi. It is true. We need to de-Slamanize the neighborhoods. There's an English word they use about, is it not alternative housing? It's whatever it's called. We need to change the slums and remove the poverty from these areas, blah, 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 yes.
The slum upgrading program, yes.
Again, I fall back to what I'm comfortable with. Give me a legal framework. Give me the financial framework. Let's discuss these issues. Let us make sure, according to what the Constitution says, again, housing is devolved to the county governments. Right now, there is no framework under which or what role the county governments are playing. They're just being told, give us the land, we are going to build 5,000 houses. Come, we talk about the public hearings that we are talking about. In Kisii, where I come from as a senator, I have not held, or nobody has held, not even the national government, has held any public hearings to tell our people how these houses are going to be built, where they will be built, and what the meaning is. How I would wish that my president, again, just like the Haiti issue, please slow down. Let us understand these things. Let us have, we are not against you building affordable housing units. Just give me the legal framework and all the frameworks so that as an averagely intelligent person, I can go through what you're saying and I'll come up, even if you give me up to halfway through. I am ready to accept that. But right now, I feel like I have nothing. I'm the senator of Kisii County. Right now, I don't know where those houses will be built. I don't know whether the assembly has discussed which land we are going to offer to the national government, because the assembly is supposed to pass, because it's the one which is holding what? That land, as the county government. How these houses are going to be shared or distributed, is it a first come, first serve basis? Is it friends of friends going to sell these houses to friends? Is it the county governments? For example, if you build these houses and nobody buys them, where do they go to? Is it the national government? My responsibility as a senator is actually to defend devolved functions, and one of the devolved functions is housing. So what are you telling me to do? What are you doing to my devolution? Those are my issues.
Thank you. Let's get closing remarks from you, Dr. Makali Muli.
Yeah, on this issue of housing, I think us as a National Assembly, we expressed ourselves. The unfortunate thing happened because of the numbers and all that. We couldn't do much in terms of saying no to it. So as usual, it passed.
So in the Senate, it's almost neck and neck in the Senate.
I'm sure.
No, they have a majority.
They have a
I'm
majority,
sure the
yeah.
Senate will still be the same.
Yes.
So the Senator Onyonga and the rest will be able to put their case. It will go on Hansard. They'll have their say,
Yes.
but the way will be for
the government.
For the government, which is okay. But what we have said about, and I've said this many times, the thing is, if I were the president, I would be asking myself, this housing levy has faced so much resistance in this country.
Why?
That everybody is saying no to it. Is there an alternative way of funding the same program without this level of risk? And I'm telling you there's a way. The way is, why don't you think of, this thing is just raising 64 billion, if I got it right. Is it? 64 billion
Yes.
per year. What if you put 64 billion as part of a budget item, a program in the budget, the normal
Yes.
budget, without calling it a housing levy? So that you collect all the levies you collect, all the taxes you collect, and after that, then out of the projected 2.9 billion collection this year, we are projected to collect 2.9 trillion in revenue. Instead of calling it housing, why don't you just get 2.9 trillion, get 64 billion out of here,
Yes.
and say low-cost housing program, and construct them?
Then you allocate the money
No, but
and send it down to the county governments
Yes.
and have your state officers who are going to monitor,
So what
make
you
sure the
do-
project is being done,
You-
and then give us the financials.
you give
then
this
you will
money-
give the house to the public.
You give this money as conditional grants to the counties,
Yes.
and whatever you train at the national level,
Yes.
you implement directly.
Exactly.
In that case, you'll have many more resistance. You know, that's why we keep on telling them. We are giving them free advice, consultancy. They don't pay.
They don't
Yeah,
pay.
They don't take
They don't
it.
listen.
Ruku, you need to get your closing remarks.
I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed with my two brothers here that they're not able to see the housing program as a program to revitalize this economy, as a program where many young people, those who are graduating from universities, those who have master's degree, those who are starting businesses, those who don't have jobs, those who have skills, you know, that they are going to get jobs on this program. Because this is a program which is going to inject the economy, to give the economy an injection. And we are going to see a serious growth because of circulation of huge amount of money within the economy, huge amount of money which is not printed money, which is emanating from an economic activity, you know? Because look at the different sectors of the economy which are going to benefit from this program. That is exactly what these two leaders should be telling
you still
Kenyans.
achieve it by the
He
movement of
has
the proposed.
many young men from his constituents who
They'll
are not
still be
employed.
employed.
He has very many young men from his county who are not employed,
Thank you.
who seek his assistance on a day-to-day basis.
Thank
and
you.
it is this program which is coming to solve that problem.
Right. Honorable
This
Ruku.
is a program which we need to support.
Thank you.
And
Member-
we encourage the president to move in with speed.
Thank you.
We encourage the Senate to
We have
move
to
with
go.
speed.
Do it within
and
the law.
ratify,
Do it
ratify
within
the
the law.
bill. Let the president ascend the bill
We
as
will
quickly as
support the
possible
president.
so
Do it
that
within the law.
we can
All
see
right.
this program running.
Thank you. Always a Twitter having you on Mondays. Thank you so much. I really appreciate today's discussion as well. Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, who is a member of parliament, Mbeere North, also Senator of Kisii. This is Richard Onyonka, member of parliament. Kitui Central, this is Dr. Makalimuli. Thank you very much. Also in absentia, I want to thank Hilary Sige. I don't know why he was on no-show this morning. He will tell us much later off camera. But I want to thank you also for your valued company on watching Standpoint today. And of course, they've made their stands. We await to hear what will be also the debate in the Senate regarding the housing levy as well. Thank you for your valued company.